13 years, from 1978 to 1991, TV audiences worldwide tuned into the TV drama Dallas, a story about two warring oil families in Texas, the Ewings and the Barneses. For many TV fans unfamiliar with our city, the TV show Dallas represented a simplistic view of what people imagine Texas oil families to be like. Even today, the stereotype that a family living in Dallas lives like a member of the Ewing or Barnes family is not reality. In fact, this is reality for a lot of Dallas area families and their children. Hi, I'm Jody Dean from CBS 11. And as you can see, today I'm at Bryan's house in Dallas. As you can also tell, it's quite unlike anything associated with the Barneses or the Ewings of the television show. But like the TV show, for 13 years, Bryan's house has been serving the community. In fact, it was November 20th, 1988, when Bryan's house opened its doors. Now that you know a little bit about Bryan's house, let's invite someone in to explain a little bit more. The executive director at Bryan's house, Nancy Gale. Nancy, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jody.
Tell us about the mission of Bryan's house and what it does.
The mission of Bryan's house was started initially, and it's still the same today, to help serve children that are impacted by HIV/AIDS. And we take care of children here in a daycare setting as far as medically managed daycare. We also provide respite care, and we provide residential care for these children.
If you don't mind my asking, how many children and families do you serve, and what kind of services do you offer?
Well, the families that we serve here at Bryan's house has grown tremendously over the years. We now have served in the last year over 600 children and 250 families. The type of services that we offer are medically managed child care. We also offer respite care, and that's for children who have special needs and need to be in a medically managed environment, or their parents may have special needs and not able to take care of the children. We also offer residential care, and residential care is for those children that need that special medical help, or their parents are unable because of the disease to take care of them.
Now, obviously, there have been a lot of medical advances and a lot of new medications that have come into play here, but those require money, those require commitment. That also requires a great deal of effort on your part. You're treating children for a longer period of time because they're living longer.
Right. That is absolutely correct. The medications that have come out in the last few years, they do help sustain children's lives for a longer period of time. The downside of that is that children have a lot of complications with these medications, and that's why we actually provide medically managed child care. We have a nurse on staff that provides that administers the medications, also teaches the families how to administer the medication, and what it creates for us is children staying with us a lot longer and into their adolescence and teen years.
You used a key word. I want to go back to it, growing or growth. It sounds, and most of us think in this age that HIV/AIDS is on the decline, but it sounds like you're serving an ever-increasing number of families and children.
We actually are, and I think that the common feeling from a lot of people is that they were not aware that AIDS is still growing in the United States. A lot of times we look at other countries and we think how horrible that disease is in that country, but the disease is actually growing here in the United States. In a recent survey that University of Texas Southwestern conducted, the medical school conducted, Dallas actually led the nation in new cases of HIV and AIDS, and it's growing in our minority populations, among our women and our children and our adolescents and teens. And we have started now at Bryan's house another program, and that is to meet the needs of teens that are infected or impacted by HIV and AIDS.
From what you said, I'm guessing that community support for a project like Bryan's house is absolutely vital.
It's absolutely vital. We depend on our local donors to give us over 70% of the funds it takes to run this organization. In the last year, we were very blessed with a capital campaign that served us very well and got us from a smaller building into a building that's about 3 or 4 times larger. Therefore, we have doubled the capacity of the children we're able to serve here. What has happened in response to that, though, is we also have a greater need for funds to help support Bryan's house and the children that we serve.
Joining us now here at Bryan's house is a member of the board, Jim Farr. And Jim, I wouldn't expect, and I don't think a lot of people would expect that a vice president of Stanley Korshak would be involved so deeply in a project like this. How'd you get started?
Well, actually, Jody, thank you. It's always a privilege to talk about Bryan's house. I was introduced to the program by one of Dallas's most prominent civic leaders, and it was love at first sight. I thought about something this morning that I read once, that relationships are good first impressions that last, and when you come to this place, you get a good first impression. And so it's been a love affair of working with these children and trying to fulfill the financial needs that we have.
How does any member of the community get involved in Bryan's House? I'm sure that there are specific needs, but if I just wanted to help out in any way I could, what do I do?
Well, first of all, I want to emphasize it's a very uplifting place to visit. We depend on two basic things in this community: volunteers, and also something that's been mentioned previously today, and that's community financial support.
But you wouldn't turn down somebody who wanted to come down and hug a kid either.
Absolutely not. In fact, that's the thing that I've had friends that say, Jim, I'm not sure I want to go there. And I say, come with me, you can hug a kid, and that'll do it. And it works every time.
Jim, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jody. It's a pleasure.
People who've worked at Bryan's House have found themselves moved by the experience. If you'd like to enjoy that experience too, there are two ways you can find out more information about how you can help. One is by calling Bryan's House at 214-559-3946. 559-3946. And they also have a website. It's bryanshouse.org. We're now joined by the president of Bryan's House, Susan Gross. Susan, good to see you. Thanks
Hi,
for
Jody.
having us in today. I understand you're going to take us on a tour.
Yes, let's go on a tour.
All right.
The best way to start any tour of Bryan's House is with the heart of our services, our medically managed child care program. This is our nursing station. We have licensed nurses on staff in 12-hour shifts, and this enables us to provide a lot of medical services to our children. We care for 65 children every day, and that's double what we cared for this time last year. Unfortunately, we still have a waiting list. Bryan's House is a state-of-the-art child care facility. Every classroom has learning centers that are developmentally appropriate to the needs of the child. We're giving these children every opportunity to succeed in life. And we also want children to be children. Just like any other children, they need to have fun, and we've included great indoor and outdoor play areas so they can do just that.
We end our tour here at our donor wall.
This is really where it all begins. For Bryan's House to meet the needs of these special children, we need the support of everyone in our community, from foundations to corporations to individuals like you. Every dollar matters. Please help us build a brighter future.
Two final bits of unfinished business. First, Irie Sessions, who's a member of the Bryan's House family, member of the staff, who has a poem written by a daughter whose mother has AIDS.
The title of this poem is Rather Not Know. To know people like me, to learn exactly what I have learned the hard way. This is a choice with consequences that you just can't take back. It has affected so many of my people. That's what hurts the most. The thought of it eats me alive, and to think of the pressure to accept this monster. Just stay away from the people I love. So many risks, so little choice, so little time.
CBS 11 is proud to be a supporter of Bryan's House as their exclusive media sponsor. And we'd like to thank everyone here for letting us inside, and thank you for joining us today. With your support, Bryan's House, which has been here for a very long time, will be here for much, much longer, making a big difference in the lives of families and children in the Dallas area who've been impacted by HIV and AIDS.